Good morning, everyone. Happy November. I was planning on doing my November garden tour and looked out the window and I thought, what a beautiful sky. I have to come out and videotape this. It is about 7 a.m. on Tuesday, November 19th, and I'll be walking through the garden with you in a little while. But I just had to pop out and record this beautiful sky. I don't know if you're going to get all of the beauty that is really being showcased this morning on camera, but I'm going to try. But, oh, looks like almost like cotton candy up there, blue and pink cotton candy. I just had to share. Okay, I'll see you in a little while. I'm back a couple of hours later, and I'm just going to be sharing my November garden with you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I just am going to be walking around the garden and sharing with you what's going on in the month of November. I'm standing in the front of my house right near my celebration maple tree, and you can see my lemon coral sedum underplanted here. It's done well this season. It's an annual in my zone, 6B, Western New York. So I will be pulling these out shortly, but they've done really well and they have such beautiful color for the fall season. And you can see my celebration maple tree has dropped all of its leaves. This tree is just a beautiful accent in our front yard, and it's grown so tall since we've planted it. I think this tree is probably 8 to 10 years old at this point. And looking at this tree this morning is reminding me of a beautiful walk that I took recently at the park right near my home. And I was just mesmerized by the vivid colors on this maple tree. Aren't they beautiful? I don't recall the colors being as vivid in years past, but this year there was just something about the weather that made these colors pop. And it's really amazing what the month of November can mean in the garden. That first shot was on November 4th, and here I am walking in the same area just 2 weeks later on November 18th, and you can see everything has changed. We've had several windy days, and the leaves have dropped, and it's just such a short time, the fall season, so you really have to pay attention and get out there and enjoy it. So I was really happy that I was able to just enjoy the beauty of those red maple trees, and I even find it beautiful when the leaves finally drop, and the structure, the branches, the structure of the tree itself is also quite beautiful. Okay, back to my November garden. We're just walking in the front yard. In the front garden, you can see my beautiful Hicks yew hedge. I just love the way this has grown together so beautifully and so lush. And you can see there's the little red berries that start to appear this time of year that I absolutely love. They're just so festive looking and sweet. The Hicks yew is hardy in zones 4 to 7, but be aware that the Hicks yew, all of the Hicks yew and its berries are actually toxic to humans, so just be aware of that fact. Now, moving on, this is my dwarf ornamental jack pear tree that I have right on the corner in the front of the house, right in front of the Hicks yews, and you can see the wind blowing through the tree. It's actually making the leaves, it looks like the tree is twinkling a little bit when the leaves are flapping in the wind, and you can see there's plenty of ornamental pears. It just looks so festive and beautiful. I love all the colors that you can see on this tree this time of year. Now I'm just taking you right over to the area by my utility box in the front yard where I've planted 3 little bunny dwarf Hamlin grasses. And I got these grasses towards the end of the summer season for a good price. They were on clearance, but I have to be honest in that we planted them and I forgot to water them. So I'm hoping they make it next season. Now I'm heading over to the south side of my driveway to the south side garden bed where I have 2 beautiful Colorado blue spruce trees, and you can see they're looking just majestic and beautiful and ready for the winter season. I just love the blue tips on this tree. It just says, it just says winter and festive to me. So I'm excited for the snow to be falling on them. And here you can see in this bed, I still have a little bit of a mishmash, but this is my Shenandoah switchblade grass that is really beautiful this time of year, especially when the sun shines upon it. You can see all the different colors in the blades and the beautiful reeds that kind of twinkle on top. Behind that, I have the mystery ornamental grass that's taken over kind of in this bed, and I have two little shoots of the Miscanthus morning light left. I thought I kind of moved everything out, but two shoots came up, so I still have this mystery grass with some morning light miscanthus, and this is my geranium Roseanne, and you can see how hardy it still is in the center. It's still pushing forth new growth, and it's time for me, as you can see, to start pruning off some of that dead growth. It just kind of pushes it down and pushes it out, but it still continues to, like I said, push forth new green growth. And you can see even the leaf here is starting to turn color. This one looks like it's more of a deep maroon color. There's some green there too. And there you can see all of the dead that I need to remove. I love the geranium Roseanne though. It is a beautiful plant. It has beautiful purple blooms in the summer, and it blooms all summer and into the fall season. It's just starting to slow down now. And just rounding the corner, this is the mystery ornamental grass just on the other side. I love the color that it turns this time of year. It's just like almost like a straw color, but it's yellow. It has some a glowing quality to it that I really do love. And again, there's those two little shoots of the morning light miscanthus. So I'll pop those out at some point and put them somewhere else. But I don't know, this ornamental grass that took over is quite welcomed. And this is the same ornamental grass that I had divided earlier in the season. This was in one of my summer containers. So I just popped it in this front bed when I was disassembling my summer containers. So it's looking a little sad right now, but it will rebound for sure. And here's another geranium Roseanne, and you can see the difference in this one compared to the other one. This one has taken on more red fall color, and which is just beautiful. I think we must have pulled out some of that old foliage around it, because this one is looking pretty good right now. And my other Colorado blue spruce tree, it's got a little bit of a bare spot there, as you can see. Not quite sure what's going on there, but the rest of the tree is looking beautiful, and I love it, and I'm thankful for it. And that is my south side garden bed. I'm going to start walking towards the front of the house just to show you our front porch and just the front beds and what they're looking like. We have been doing a lot of pruning. So as you can see, these were my daylilies and my Junior Walker catmint. We pruned those all the way down to the ground. And the Golden Globe arborvitae, which you see there on the left, the two globe-shaped shrubs, those have been trimmed up as well. And I just have to show you this beautiful little laser cut garden sign that my sister got for me for my birthday. And it says "Pretty Little Garden" with a little hummingbird and flowers. I love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Sarah. And here you can see the front of our house. The Fat Albert blue spruce are looking plump and healthy. And my window box, I just have the vinca vine with a pink mum and a white Osaka flowering cabbage. I still have my raspberry eclipse daylily. I need to cut that foliage down, but that is still there. Just pulling out some of the dead. This is a dwarf creeping juniper, which has crept quite far. You can see we have pruned our Golden Globe arborvitae. You can see some of the clippings that have fallen to the bed that we have to clean out. Yeah, I think this creeping juniper needs a bit of a haircut at some point. Now we're just looking right onto my front porch. You can see we've removed our chairs and pillows, and I've disassembled my summer container that was in between the chairs, and just coming down and showing you a look at our fall containers right now. I replaced, I did have a pink mum in there that was really kind of hit by the frost, so I replaced it with a yellow one that's probably going to be on its way out soon. I still have the lemon coral sedum potted up there, and the pots down below have some of the silver carpet lamb's ear, the white Osaka flowering cabbage, a pink and white mum. Both of those are kind of spent, and I really love that corkscrew grass, and I use that as a thriller in my summer containers, but it really can extend into the fall season, and that is considered a perennial. I know it spreads by rhizomes, but that grass, the corkscrew grass, is considered a perennial. I know we're looking at the mum right now, but you can see the corkscrew grass off to the right there. And now we're just coming on to my porch, and this is my garden shelf that I got off of Amazon, and I have just decorated it for the fall season. A couple of accents there. This is just a cute little bird that my son got for his first communion several years ago from his aunt that said, "Under his wings you will find refuge." So it just kind of, it's a nice little accent on our front porch. And I have just some Indian corn. Those pots are from Walmart. I think I'm going to bring those inside to use for amaryllis. And my statuary likeness of Lucy there. And these are the Rex begonias that I fell in love with for the fall season. My little fox with his legs dangling. And I still have my summer pots, a couple of them left up here with the vinca vine and the double impatiens. There was salmon double impatiens and hot pink double impatiens. That is a Rex begonia that you see there. It's called Rex Begonia Shadow King Cherry Mint there on the right side. And here is some more vinca vine with some double impatiens that are kind of spent. And my little Lucy is in the window wanting to come out with me, and I will let her out when I get to the backyard because she sometimes runs off and doesn't listen to me. So here she is, just looking at me, wondering, when is my time coming? Here are a couple of pumpkins that I have by our front garage door planters, a warty pumpkin and just a miniature pumpkin there. And I have a couple more on the other side here, with my boxwood. I think this is a Green Mountain boxwood, if I'm not mistaken, just planted up in this self-watering container in the front. And I just have some pumpkins down below there. The warty pumpkin, which those are fun, and then just a regular orange pumpkin. And that's about it for my front yard. So let's take a walk into the back. Okay, I'm just taking you into the backyard now. Boy, that sky sure is different from this morning, isn't it? Still a beautiful, beautiful November sky, but the pinks and the oranges of the sunrise have made way for the beautiful blue sky with the beautiful clouds today. It is about 50 or 53 degrees right around in there. We're supposed to get some rain later this week, so I want to make sure I just record my November garden. This is the Blue Cushion English Lavender. which I just not going to trim. A lot of times we have trimmed this in the fall. I think I was reading somewhere though that they benefit more from a pruning or a trimming in the springtime. So I'm just going to leave those tippy tops, the growth on top as is for this season. My husband's come through and done a lot of pruning. He's a big fan of pruning, so he pruned down all of my echinacea, which is fine. You know, it's nice to leave for the birds too, but if you trim it down, no harm done. I feed my birds very well. You can see my 4 emerald gaiety euonymus have all been pruned, and he also took right after the clematis for me, which was very nice of him. And he pruned that right down, which it was the clematis Haldane that can pretty much get pruned down. I believe it's a group 3. And group 3 clematis, you can prune pretty much down. You know, you want to leave a little bit of growth there like he did. Maybe a foot or so, but prune that pretty much right down. And I also had a echinacea in the back corner. I think he gave that one a little trim as well. I'm thankful for a helpful husband. Okay, let's take a walk in the back. Okay, I just stepped into the backyard. This is what everything is looking like right now in this bed. The leaves have almost all dropped from the Snow Fountain Weeping Cherry Tree. We had several windy days, and I felt like, you know, the leaves were taken a little bit quicker this season, but you can see the beautiful color of that leaf. Just gorgeous. This is a month to just give thanks for all the beautiful color that arises in the garden, the October and November months. The beginning of November is chock full of color usually, and within just a few weeks things change drastically. So again, you can see the gold flame spirea, which is a deciduous shrub, is starting to drop its leaves. I have our evergreen Hicks yews growing along the house. You could see those two on the right. They get a little bit more sun than the ones that are under the canopy of the Snow Fountain Weeping Cherry. So you see those are a little bit bigger. And my hydrangea on the end. I think I may try and just clip off some blooms before the rain comes today. I have so many beautiful brown crispy blooms, and I think today's going to be the day. If I don't take advantage today, I think they're going to take a while to dry out again because we're supposed to get a lot of rain. So I'm going to make that promise to myself that I come back after I do my videotaping and do all the other responsibilities of the day, that I come back and I prune off some of these beautiful blooms. And I think perhaps I can do something with them for the holiday season. You know, I can even put them in my window boxes or the planters in the front. We shall see. I'm just backtracking a little here to show you what my climbing rose is looking like. Look at this beautiful, beautiful new cane here from this season, and look at how easily I can bend that. I do want to do just a little short video on, you know, the first winter of my first year climbing rose and how I'm just going to be caring for it. So that is also planned. I don't know if I'll get to that this week or not, but that's also in my game plan. Something I'd like to get done. Let's come over to this other side. Are you looking after things over here, Lucy? You can see I did have some damage to some of the leaves. There's holes in the leaves, some little insect was munching on them. I'm not sure what, but for the most part, it looks really healthy, and it stopped its blooming. I have not touched it in quite a while. I kind of was just letting it be while I observe and learn. So this is the Generous Gardener. I'm excited to see what it'll do next year and how it will grow up. This pergola arch. This pergola arch is from Kinsman Garden Company. We got it in the fall. My husband and I assembled it, put it together, and then planted the Generous Gardener rose. Oh, I just want to show you some of these rose hips here too. Look at how beautiful. Look at that beautiful orange color of these rose hips. Wow. Oops. One just dropped. We pick it up. Let's look at it. See, this is what's called a rose hip. For anybody who doesn't know, and this forms after the rose has stopped blooming. It'll form hips, and inside the hips there are seeds. And some roses have their hips, change to beautiful colors like this. Other rose hips might not be as colorful, but that's just one of the characteristics of a rose that's just really beautiful. And I'm just, looking at most of these canes that are new are very movable. So I bought some zip ties that I'm planning to tie up for example, this cane here. You would not want that to be left unchecked for the winter. I will be securing that to the structure. Moving along, I've got my Twombly's Red Sentinel Japanese maple tree, which we will see how this does. I bought this on major sale from Home Depot online. I think the total price was $78. This is a columnar Japanese maple. The only issue is, I think when we received it, I think it had been pruned at some point, because it kind of heads off into different directions, and it doesn't seem to have a leader. I mean, this could be the leader, I guess, but it looks like it was trimmed at some point. So we shall see how it grows, see how it does. We can easily replace this if it's not working, but for the price, I just thought it would be something wonderful to try. You can see the color. Isn't that a beautiful color on that leaf? Isn't that gorgeous for fall color? And I think it gets that way for the springtime as well. So I'm hoping for the best. There. I'm still thinking we should perhaps maybe stake this. I'm not quite sure, because the winds do kind of whip down this way in Zone 6B of Western New York here. Okay, moving along, we've got our Emerald Green Arborvitae, which that's been doing pretty good. We were kind of, I thought Doug was watering them, and Doug thought I was watering them. So they got missed for several weeks. So I got a little concerned, but I think they're going to be okay. You can see there's some yellow growth in there, some dead growth, which is typical for this time of year as well. We're supposed to get some good rain for the rest of the week, so I think they'll get watered pretty well. Moving along, our birch tree. Isn't that cool? the peelings of the river birch. And the river birch has lost most of its leaves, you can see. We had those windy days. It just kind of took everything, blew everything down. Here's our blue muffin viburnum from Proven Winners. Beautiful. I'm hoping this one will shine too. This was just planted in the summertime. You can see too, it actually produced a little blueberry, which I was kind of surprised to see some of the blueberries because you need another viburnum. Oh gosh, I can't think of the type of the viburnum that you need, but you need another viburnum. I'll put it up on the screen, a different type in order to have this viburnum produce its blueberries in the fall. But as you can see, there's another little blueberry. So I don't know, maybe we don't need that viburnum after all. Really beautiful. Another little lime here. This is where I planted my purple pillar Rose of Sharon, right back in that corner, and that is more of a columnar plant that will bloom purple blooms, and I think it'll fill up this back corner nicely. I also planted, which you can barely see them, and I'm thankful that my husband did not think they were weeds and pulled them out, but I had some, I think it was called blueberry iris, that I had picked up on clearance at some point, so I planted 3 of those there. So hopefully they will come up and look good next year. I also planted a couple of echinacea back in here. I think this was called the Yellow Mellow Echinacea. Again, they were $2 a piece that I got at the end of the season. I think they get a little bit tall, maybe 18 inches. Okay, coming around. Lucy is helping me today. Right, Luce? My spirea. That's how my window boxes are looking. The spirea is called Neon Pink, although it looks more yellow right now for the fall color. It's got some beautiful red peeping out there. Pretty much done blooming for the season. And a couple videos ago, I did plant some echinacea. This is the Proven Winners Double Coated Butter Pecan. You can kind of see a little picture of that there to see what that's going to be looking like next year. And I'm hoping that they do well here. I did plant echinacea in this same spot. It was a Proven Winners kind. I think it was the Proven Winners Yellow My Darling last fall. And they did not even root. In fact, I think they were probably eaten by something. So I'm hoping for the best for this echinacea here. And Lovely Lolly is back there. The Lovely Lolly echinacea I popped in back there, and I did the same thing on either side. Same thing on either side. Here is the Lovely Lolly on this side. You can see a little bit of that bloom. It has a very graceful stem to it that's a darker color, and that's what drew me to that echinacea. I thought it was just different looking. And then another double coated butter pecan here. And this is how our window boxes are looking right now. I still have some mums in there. I still have my daylily in the center, the raspberry eclipse, and the vinca vine, which I may just at some point just trim this a little bit further back. We'll see. I would like to do something here for the holiday winter season, so stay tuned for that. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing yet, but stay tuned for that. I have to be careful. I'm walking on the ledge here. I planted a little silver carpet lamb's ear, and let's round the corner here. Oh boy. I have to clean out this water. Water gets so dirty so easily, and I also have to put some more birdseed in here. I filled this the other day. This is still pretty full, but I'm going to have to, that's going to bother me. I'm going to do that right now. Okay, we are all refilled and cleaned and ready for a new day. Here are some other plantings, the Dolce Wildberry Heuchera and the double-coated butter pecan echinacea. This is my Endless Summer Bloomstruck hydrangea. I'm just going to step down here. Endless Summer Bloomstruck. And my other Bloomstruck. Look at this beautiful bloom that's been kind of protected from the harsh temperatures. It's got some beautiful color on it. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I can, cut some of these off too. Just pop these off the top here and use them for something. And my Heuchera that's overwintering in this back corner. Primo Peachberry Ice by Proven Winners. It's just going to overwinter in this corner along with the Proven Winners Ice by Heucherella Hybrid, which a Heucherella is a combination of a Heuchera and a Tiarella. And here is my little Vinca Vine Village, which I have a couple different Vinca vines growing here that I'm going to be using for my summer containers next year. And call me crazy, but I just threw an umbrella grass in there just to see what would happen. It'll probably die, but I just was feeling like, oh, I'll give it a shot. It's totally not hardy in my zone 6B, but I don't know. I just felt like it. And then the little ornamental grass there, I just tucked that in between the Heucheras, the Heucherella and the Heuchera. And I thought, wouldn't that be interesting if it came back, if it was protected in that area and came back? We shall see. But that's what it's looking like along the side of the shed there. My Thuja Green Giants, looking great. They put on a lot of growth this year. I was looking at a video from last November, my November tour from last year, and boy, oh boy, I feel like they doubled in size, to be honest with you. They're beautiful. Planted a little close together, but still beautiful, and they'll do well. And I planted one of the ornamental grasses from my summer containers back here. And this pot here just contains a bunch of different grasses that I separated and divided from the front yard. And I think I'm just going to leave that there, or just, tuck it along the back corner there. And then come spring, I can just pull from that. Spring and summer, I can just pull from that for some thrillers for my containers. And do you remember me talking about the osteospermum? Do you see it glowing? Look at this container, okay? Look at how dead it is with my ornamental purple fountain grass. And this was the Vermillionaire that's right below it. And the Creeping Jenny, which comes back. I'm actually going to pull that out and plant it over by the Vinca Vine Village. But look at this osteospermum. Let me take you in for a closer look. It's just like, look at it glow. Look at it glow right there. I think it was in the perfect spot because, let me just turn this way. It would just get sun from this side. It would just get a lot of sun throughout the day, and it just loved this spot. But let's just go in and take a look. I mean, it is November 19th in Zone 6B in Western New York. This has to be a fall flower for me next year. Maybe this will replace the mums. I usually buy mums every year, and I still love mums and I will use them. But I would buy them. I bought quite a few for my niece's volleyball fundraiser, and this is her senior year, so she won't be selling them next year. Let me just take a look at this one over here. Oh my gosh, and then more blooms coming. What do you think? Osteospermum for fall containers? Look at how gorgeous. Look at how gorgeous. And it just like, oh my goodness, it's just, I can't say enough. Can't say enough. Let me just tell you what this one was. I have all my tags here from this container. This was the Zion Orange Burst Osteospermum, inspired by the colors of Zion National Park in Utah. Isn't that cool? And it says it's a full sun. Let's see if it says anything here that I can tell you. Huge daisy-looking flowers are stunning in gardens and mixed containers. Cut back in late summer to encourage fresh flowers in the fall. Guess what? I didn't even cut it back. It blooms in the spring and in autumn. Okay, so that explains why it was sort of not loving life in the summer. Full sun plant. It's a heavy feeder. 16 to 20 inches tall. Spacing 18 inches apart. You can see my Ivory Halo red twig dogwoods have dropped their leaves and the red twigs are left behind, which they are looking beautiful. You can see the red there in the sun. Here are my mums that were looking beautiful for quite a long time. I said they looked like a big yellow cupcake for so long. They were so happy, but you know, they've been hit by the frost quite a few times and they're on their way out. Although I did leave my mums in, these mums in particular, I left them in through the winter. I don't know, I didn't think the brown looked awful and it just gave some winter interest, I thought, back here when I was looking out my back window. What are you doing? We're going to be going for a walk with my sister and her dog in just a few minutes. So let's keep going here. We've got some more Ivory Halo red twig dogwood, some more mum. Fat Albert, blue spruce. What can you say? It is ready for the winter. It is ready for the winter and looking icy and blue and fabulous. I planted a white rose of Sharon. Here it is. It's going to be protected, I think, between the blue spruce trees. I'm hoping that it does okay. Oh, Lucy. Lucy's knocking my camera around. I'm hoping that it does okay. But I also planted another one, and now it's missing. It was very strange. I planted another one over here. My husband claims, oh, I see it. Now, this was really weird. I always have these mysteries in the garden, but I have one right here. Watch out, Luce. See? Right there. And I asked Doug if he pruned it. He said no, he didn't. I think he would own up to it if he did by accident. But because I came by, it was all pruned, but the prunings were just laying right next to it. So, here, Luce, move this way just a little bit. Thank you. The prunings were laying right next to it, like right on the ground there. So I don't know if a rabbit came up and just nibbled it. I don't know, but it looked like it was a clean prune cut. So I don't know. Mysteries in the garden. Sometimes, sometimes you have mysteries in the garden. My Fat Albert blue spruce, another one here, ready for winter. And boy, we could easily decorate these with some lights too. We'll have to see what we feel like doing this year for winter decoration. My miscanthus grass. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Just beautiful. I mean, oh, the movement with the wind. I can't say how much I love this particular grass. Just gorgeous. I'm going to step down here with the light shining on it. Look at that. Aww. And last year, I think I told you when we had our first snowfall, the snow just kind of rested on the reeds, and the reeds just tipped over so elegantly and so gracefully. Lucy, you're ruining my moment. We did cut down this one right here, though, because if you remember, this was another mystery in the garden. It looked like something was laying down in this grass every evening, and it looked like something was laying down because the grass was like splayed apart and spread open. So I don't know what was going on there, but we cut that back because it was looking rather messy. But we left these two up here. And look at how beautiful. We still have the spruce trees staked. Doug wanted to stake them for another season, so we'll stake them again. Hopefully we'll be able to take those out next year. Beautiful. We have 4 Cleveland pears that have lost most of their leaves and are looking pretty good. This tree in particular was a little more red than the others, and I felt like the trunk of this tree just kind of reminded me of like cinnamon, the color of cinnamon. And you can see there's some ornamental pears still left on there. Look at that beautiful sky today. Oh boy. Just gorgeous. Another miscanthus. Another miscanthus grass here. And as I go down, you can see, look at the change in the color there too. You can see the yellows and the reds and the browns. Absolutely gorgeous. These are the little moments that make life so enjoyable. It's another fairly quiet afternoon. You can hear a little traffic in the background, but for the most part, nice and quiet and calm. You can see there I took my zinnias down. I'm planning on putting some bulbs in that bed. And I'm also planning on planting some bulbs in containers as well. I just want to walk over and show you my sedge grass, or my Carex grass. This is Carex Feather Falls. I have 2 of them here. We like to trim ours down at this time of year. That's just what we prefer. You can leave them. You don't have to trim them. But they have like a waterfall type look. They cascade down. So I have 2 of those there. It's like a variegated grass of like a white and kind of maybe a creamy white. Not exactly pure white. Variegated grass. Sedge, I should say sedge. People call them grasses, but they're actually not in the grass category. It's called a sedge. I planted this Proven Winners Luminary Ultraviolet Phlox here too. So I'm hoping that does well over the winter and will come back. Let's see how that does. I also have 3 Crimson Cutie barberries here. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 1 on the other side of the Vanderwolf pine. And I had barberries at my old house. This was before they were considered invasive. I don't know the variety of barberry, but they grew in such a different form and a lot more lush looking than these have been looking. So I don't know. I thought about replacing these with some hydrangea or something that's offers a little more interest, because these haven't wowed me. We'll see though, but that's what they're looking like currently. And you can see just my Vanderwolf pine. I'll step a little closer to get a look at that, but you can see here's the Vanderwolf pine. Okay, I just had to take a little bit of a break and I'm back, and I think this is where I left off with the Vanderwolf pine. You can see how gorgeous this pine tree is looking and continues to drop its needles, the inner aspect of the tree. It's called casting. You can see all the needles that have dropped below this season, and you can just kind of reach in. I like to just kind of reach in and you just touch them and they fall. And from what I understand, as long as it's not happening on the very tip of your pine tree, it's okay, it's healthy. But you can see how it just kind of drops everything, and then you're left with just the skeleton framework on the inside, which looks just beautiful. Vanderwolf pine. Got some more red twig, ivory halo dogwood. Just look at how red that is and beautiful. I love it. This is the Endless Summer Original. That's what it looks like this time of year. I've got 3 of them here, along with another red twig, ivory halo dogwood. And you can see this, the trunk of this Cleveland pear looks a little different. The other one, like I pointed out, had like a cinnamon color, and this one isn't as cinnamon colored, but it does have some, look at that, some new growth popping out of the side. Look at that. That shoot that's coming right out the side, and there's another one trying to start on the other side. We'll prune that off eventually. But look at that beautiful color. The lush emerald green arborvitae. It's creating a beautiful wall here in the back. They'll eventually touch. They're very happy right here on this side of the house, and they just get what they need. I don't have to do much at all to them. More river birch. Northern gold forsythia. River birch here. I do have a Rose of Sharon back here. I think it's the Blue Chiffon Rose of Sharon, which I don't think it's happy in this spot. I don't think it's getting enough sunshine. And I think there's a water factor too. The river birch is kind of taking up a lot of the water. So I might have to consider moving this next year. It didn't really do much. I think it's alive and everything. It's just not thriving. And more brown spent hydrangeas that are just asking to be cut and used somehow. Look at that. I've got a sea of hydrangeas here. Right after I'm done filming, I'm going to just grab my pruners and clip off a bunch of hydrangeas before the rain comes this week. And moving along, we've got my candy mint crabapple. All the leaves have dropped. And look at the structure of the branches. We do prune this tree as well, and I'm noticing, see right here, this isn't good on a tree. When you have a tree that's kind of rubbing off, a branch that's rubbing up on another branch, maybe we'll have to address that in the springtime, just for the overall general health of the tree. But it still has beautiful ornamental apple berries. Kind of shriveled up, some of them, but I'm sure the birds will still appreciate those. I do have a bird feeder right next to this tree, right near this window here, and let me tell you, I get such a beautiful view of the birds there. Right outside the window, I can see clearly, and they don't see me. And I see all different kinds of birds. Most recently, a ton of blue jays. And we also trimmed our Hicksyews here. We've got a few Hicksyews. You can see the red berries are in there as well. Can you see the red berries? We gave those a trim. There's some beautiful berries on this euonymus, the Blondie Winter Creeper. Isn't it just beautiful? And you can see my elevated garden bed. I removed all the zinnias finally. Everything is taken out, and I'm going to be putting some bulbs in here, I think. I just hope they don't get too wet in here. I'm a little nervous about that. I planted my bulbs in containers last fall, but I stored them in my shed, so I would not be storing these in the shed. This would be staying put. So there is the chance that, with the rain and snow, that they could possibly not do well, but you don't know. I don't know until I try, so I am going to try. The last thing I wanted to show you is my Golden Vicary privet, which is anything but golden now. Those beautiful hydrangeas. I love this big fat one right here. Look at that one. I'm just going to swing around. This is the Golden Vicary privet, which develops this like mahogany, deep mahogany wine color this time of year. And you can see the little berries also. See those little berries? Isn't it beautiful? During the summer months, this is like a chartreusey yellow green. And then look at the fall color. Look at that fall interest. This is a semi-deciduous shrub, so it will drop most of its leaves. And in fact, with all the wind we've had, I'm surprised at how many leaves still remain. But look at that deep, rich color. Absolutely gorgeous. I also wanted to just show you an update on the geraniums, the perennial geraniums that I planted the other day underneath this limelight hydrangea. I think they're going to be happy here, and I look at the red color that's developed since I've planted them. You see that? Look at that. Just gorgeous. These leaves are turning more red. This is the geranium, cranesbill geranium called Max Frey or Max Free. And this is the bloody cranesbill, this one in the front. These two have a pale pink bloom, and then the one behind it has more of like a magenta purplish type bloom. Look at these. Oh my goodness. Look at this, Ty. Do you know why I'm cutting these?
Since they grow back.
Well, partly, right? I'm going to prune this year, but I also want to cut some of these humongous hydrangeas down to decorate for winter. Oh my gosh. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Ooh, these are huge. This is the biggest one I have seen. Look at how humongous that one is. Ooh. Just beautiful. to this one. I think I'm going to have enough hydrangea blooms just from one shrub for decoration. Ooh, whoops.